Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on March 21st, 2018. If you want to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. So what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 22, 57, 59, 60, and 66. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 12 orange, 14 green, 18 blue, and 10 purple. Now over here to the right is 212. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings, okay? And out of this 212 drawings, 114 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 75 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 19 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 4 times out of 212 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this 3 right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there's 2 purple numbers, 2 blue, and a orange for 3 colors total. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to predict what number is going to come up next. Okay, so more than half the time it does come up a 3-color combination, but every once in a while you can see that it does come up a 4-color combination or even a 2-color combination. Okay, and once in a great while all 5 colors do come up together. Okay, so my overall strategy is this. Okay, so there's 69 white ball numbers total. Only 5 can come up as winners. So that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so again, my overall strategy is to reduce the numbers so it gives me better odds at picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn to how hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So for this drawing here, I think that no purple numbers will be coming up in the drawing, okay? And the reason why is because usually purple will come up like 1, 2, maybe even 3 drawings and then miss, okay? So this is a miss right here. You don't see any purple numbers here. So the last 4 drawings, there's been a purple number to it, okay? So because I hit 4, I just don't think it's going to hit 5, okay? So I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. And how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in a lottery. Again, it was the 22, the 57, the 59, the 60, and the 66. Okay, so together that comes up to be a 3-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here and how I use this is this big square is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5. Okay, for one reason, I could go back into history and count real quick by going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Okay, another thing, my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings for this group of numbers, maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so again, for this drawing here, I want to eliminate numbers, and I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers, okay? And the reason why is because as I look back through history, I just see that there's just a bunch of hits throughout this, okay? So I just think that is due to have a couple misses to it here. Okay, so again, I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. Okay, so another thing that I do is, another way that I can use this is if I want to single out the 66, I could highlight the 66 and I could go down through and look at the colors that came up. Okay. Now, if there hasn't been an orange or whatever, like I'm not seeing an orange number here, then maybe when it hits orange, I might consider the 66 just because it's never been orange before. Okay, so another way is over here, I try to guess what number is going to come up. Okay, so 4 comes up the most. Okay, so as I go down through history, you can see a bunch of 4s here. Okay. So a 4 hasn't come up in 3 drawings. So for this next drawing coming up, I think it's going to be a 4. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent 4 of these groups. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so you can see that there's no 20 numbers here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, again, I'm betting $3 that no purple numbers will come up in the color code. And now I'm going to parlay that bet, saying that no 20 numbers are going to come up as well. Okay, so I'm going to make a couple of bets like that where I'm going to just add on to this card, okay, and reduce the numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, pick the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the Powerballs, the 5 white winning Powerballs land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. So down here, this is for the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. And again, the 5 white winning numbers were the 22, the 57, the 59, 60, and 66. Okay, so here in the blue, you can see that the 66 and the 22 were in the blue. So in the blue section, I have a 2. Okay, and in the orange section, you can see the 57, the 59, and the 60 are all in the orange, so I have 3 down here in the orange. Okay, so that means that no winning Powerballs landed in the red area, and no winning Powerballs landed in the green area. Okay, so what the strategy is with this group 1 is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and really gave myself a better chance at picking the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I wanted to do is show you how these numbers work together. Okay, so you can see that the 66 is right here. Okay, and it actually shares the square with the 8. Okay, and over here, the 65 and 67, the 65 shares the square with the 25, and the 67 shares the square with the 19. Okay, so what that means is as I go back to the game card, you can see these numbers off here to the side. Okay, so the 53 shares the square with the 69. Okay, so if I thought that none of these green numbers were going to come up again in the drawing, I would eliminate all these green numbers, okay? And I would eliminate the 53 and the 69 as a group, okay? So the reason why I don't have this 53 crammed in here with the 69 is because of the color code, okay? So you can see that the 53 is green for this drawing and the 69 is red. So I need some separation. But if I'm going to get rid of this row right here, I'm going to get rid of the 53 and the 69 as a group. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict whether they're going to come up or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so I'm off to the next, I'm off to my pick for group 1. Okay, and my first pick is going to be option card number 2, no orange numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this is you can see this row right here. What that means is that all 4 color groups had a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so when that happens, I put this row right here. So when I go back in the history, I can see where all the rows are. Okay, so if there hasn't been a row in a while, then maybe I'll think that there will be one. Okay, and if I think that there's going to be a row, then when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent all 4 of these colors, like this did last drawing here. Okay. Now a lot of times when there's 2 rows in a row, okay, like over here, there's usually a miss. Okay, for some reason. Sometimes there'll be 3 of these rows. Okay, sometimes even 4, but 90% of the time, when there's 2 back to back like this, there's usually a miss. Okay, and the one that I'm going to pick here is the orange. I just don't think any orange numbers will be coming up, so I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so that includes the 53 and the 69 as a group. So as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so you can see that the 69 is gone, and now I'm going to eliminate the 53 as well. Okay, so now I'm off to my next pick. And my next pick is option card number 9, no green numbers. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and the reason why I have 15 is because I want as many options as possible to try to pick where that 0 is going to come up. Okay, so this is what some of these game card looks like. Okay, so again, they all kind of look the same as far as the red, blue, orange, green. Okay, I use the same colors for each option card. Okay, so again, I think option card number 9 won't be coming up. No green numbers. Okay, so as you look at this, you see a 0 here. Okay, and there's a bunch of single zeros here. Now, every once in a while, you can see that they double up. Okay, and that's what I think is going to happen here with this green area. I just see a bunch of single blue marks, and now I just think that it's going to double up like right here. Okay, so I think that this is going to be a 0 right here. So I don't believe that any of these green numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. So I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay. This 53 shouldn't be here. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far, all right, the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should be within one of these colored numbers still left on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1 for one more pick, and that is option card number 12, no orange numbers. Okay, so here, these numbers up top here, this means this is a count of how many blue marks there are in the column. Okay, so you can see that this orange has 41, where over here it's the green has 62, the blue has 56, the red has 63, and again this orange only has 41. Okay, so I just think that it's due to have a 0 here, so I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see I'm just knocking these numbers down one by one. Okay, I forgot to knock off that 53, so I'll get rid of that as well. Okay, so I'm all done picking from group 1. So now I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so the big difference between group 1 and group 2 is, again, group 1 could have a row to it where it hit all 4 colors, okay? But in group 2, I definitely know that there's going to be 3 misses here, okay? I definitely know that 3 of these groups won't be able to come up, okay? So my first pick here is option card number 2. No gray numbers. Okay, so how this works is I'm going to point out this red area right here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Okay, so this red, you can see that there's 8 squares, but there's actually 9 numbers because the 25 and the 65 share this square. Okay, so again, if I get rid of these red numbers, then I'm going to get rid of the 25 and the 65 as a group. Okay, so down here, you can see the stats for the red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Now, I have 15 of these option cards as well, and these all look the same. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. I used all the same colors for all 15 option cards. Okay, so you can see over here in option card 2, the red numbers go from left to right, and over in option card number 1, the red goes from bottom to the top, or top to bottom. Okay, so down here in the stats, I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I do that is because it will show me a majority. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros or 3 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go down through, if something is very, very hot, well, eventually it's going to turn cold, okay? Because that's what random does, okay? So by doing this, now I'm counting on the lottery being random, okay? So I'm kind of putting random in my favor here, okay? Because again, nothing can stay hot forever, okay? And nothing can stay cold forever, okay? So my first pick is going to be option card number 2, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot here. Okay, and kind of cold, but hot again. But now I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, and if that 0 does come up, that means that none of these gray numbers will be coming up in the lottery as well. Okay, so that's what I think is going to happen. So I want to get rid of these gray numbers, so I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, this is what the game card looks like so far, and you can see that there's no gray numbers here. Okay, so my next pick in group 2 is option card number 3, no brown numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the brown, and as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot right through here. Okay, so now I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, and if there is a 0 there, then that means that none of these brown numbers will be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of them. So you can see that there's nothing here but the 34 and the 42. I'm going to take off the game card. Okay, so you can see that they're not here anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2 for a couple more picks. Again, I know that there's going to be at least 3 misses for each of these option cards. Okay, so how I design this is I just want to pick one out of each of these option cards and move on to the next one. Okay, so even though I know that there's going to be 3 misses, and on average it's actually 4 misses, okay, but I don't want to, the more picks that I make, the more of a chance that I'm going to get it wrong. Okay, so I just want to take one pick. Okay, so I'm going to go with option card number 4, no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the yellow. And you can see it's been pretty hot all along, and now I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so the only one left is the 63 and 64. So now I'm scrolling to the left here. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, you can see that the 63 and 64 are gone now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is going to be option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards, and all the colors look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. So again, I don't think any green numbers are going to come up. So here's the stats for the green. And you can see that things were very hot through here. Okay. And they still kind of stayed hot. And now I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of the game card. And I think the only one left is the 60, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm really getting the numbers down here. But I'm going to go back for 2 more picks. Okay, so I'm going to go to option card number 11, no blue numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the blue. And as I head down through, things got a little bit hot from here down to here. And now I think that this is going to be a 0 right here. Okay. So I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, the only one that I took off the the card is the 44. Okay, so you can see that 44 is not there anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and the last one I'm going to take is option card 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so I've been picking at this gray for a long time now. So as you look at it, you can see that things have been really, really hot here. Okay, and I took it the last time before that, and I keep on getting burned, but I think that it's really due to have a miss to it. So I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card, and the only one left is the 57. So here's the 57 right here. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and you can see that the 57's gone now. Okay, so that's it for as far as taking numbers off of the board. Okay, so again, I started with 69 white ball numbers, and I'm down to 2, and 3 is 5, and 2 more is 7. So I'm down to 7 numbers. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks, and the magic word here is if I made all the correct picks, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be within these numbers that are still left on the board. Okay, so I'm going to turn to my next strategy to really pinpoint where these numbers are going to come up. Okay, and that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers at the high side or numbers at the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is over here, this 256. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, and out of this 256 drawings, 130 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 126 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so when I look at this, I look at the game card, and the only thing left is odd numbers. Okay, so that's not really going to help much because I have to pick odds. Okay, and then here in the high and low, you can see that this red section, the majority of numbers have come up in that red section 126 times. Okay, and in the blue section, the majority has been 130 times. Okay, so when I go back to the game card, you can see that most of these numbers are on the high side, so that's not going to help me out either for this drawing. Okay, so then I have the left and right, okay, to find out what the majority has been, all right? And this is dead even at 128. And as I go back to the game card, most of the numbers are over here to the left, so that's not going to help me out either, okay? So one last thing that I have is this red and blue, okay? And the red has really been dominant over the blue, 145 drawings to 111, okay? So as I look at this, the majority has to be in this blue area, so unfortunately the 50-50 picks aren't really going to help me out this time, okay? But one thing that I do have here is for the Powerball itself, the red number. Okay, so this red number 7, all right? That's the Powerball. There's 26 red numbers total, okay? So over here in this column, if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. And over in this column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. And if you see a blue number, that means it's evens, okay? So now I just kind of look at the colors, okay? So if I see a bunch of blue in a row, then I'm going to guess red, okay? So for over here, that means that it's going to be an odd number. So for this drawing here, I think that this is going to be red, okay? Which means I think it's going to be a high number. And over here, I think it's going to be red as well. So for the Powerball, I think it's going to be a high odd number. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. And with the 50 picks, I have nothing here because they're just not going to help me for this drawing. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, right now I'm just going to guess at group 2. All right, so again, I have 15 of these option cards here, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, okay, for each different option card. All right, so what that means is that I have 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, 15 orange and green, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that as a group. Okay, so that's in here. I call it the group 2 overview. Okay, so this is what the group 2 overview looks like. Okay, so here in those 15 red areas, you can see that the last drawing had 7 hits, 8 misses. Okay, and of course 7 and 8 equals 15. Okay, so in the blue areas, there was 5 hits and 10 misses. All right, so what I'm looking at here is I think that there's going to be a lot of hits in this brown area. Okay, so as I head back down through here, I'm going to scroll over to the right. Okay, so I think there's going to be lots of hits among the 15 areas in group 2. All right, so this represents option card number 1. So as I go back here, okay, option card number 1, I look at the brown, the 6 down to the 62. Okay, and as I head back to the game card, you can see that there's nothing here. So I put a 0 right here. Okay, so option card number 2, you can see that the brown is from the 41 over to the 48. So the 41 over to the 48, you can see that the 43 and the 47 are there. So I wrote down the 43 and 47. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards, and these are the numbers that came up. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 31, the 33, the 43, the 47, and the 59. Okay, so as I look at this group of numbers will give me 10 hits and 5 misses in that brown area. Okay, so I'm hoping that this is going to be a 10 right here, and this a 5. Okay, and again I will mark that up. Okay, so that's what I hope it will look like. All right. All right, so as I go back to the game card here, one thing that I varied on is over in the individual numbers. I said that I thought it would be a 4. 3 comes up almost as much as a 4 does. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this right here. You can see that there's 2 30 numbers, 2 40s, and a 50. Okay, so that would mean it's a 3 group combination. Okay, but with this, with these numbers, 31 is green, 33 is blue, 43 is red, 47 is green, and 59 is red, and that will give me a 3 color combination. Okay, and again, a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with that as well. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 31, the 33, the 43, the 47, and the 59. Okay, folks, what I'm looking to do is build a community where people share their picks using my game/system. Okay, if you're interested in using my game and would like to meet others using the game to share picks, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, and if you'd like to send any feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, So there's no the in there, so it's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I really appreciate you watching. I wish you the best of luck with your picks. And if you like my content, then please subscribe. All right, thanks again.